Hello and welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoy the story. I'm going to try and upload a new story each day. The Hallowed Grounds of Stonegate Cemetery. The hallowed grounds of Stonegate Cemetery stretch beneath the ominous shadows of gnarled oak trees, their twisted branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. Within this desolate realm, Martin Blackwell toiled day after day as the gravedigger, the only living soul among the sea of tombstones. The air in the cemetery was thick with an otherworldly aura, and whispers of long-forgotten secrets echoed through the rustling leaves. One gloomy afternoon, as Martin shoveled bit into the cold earth, it struck something hard. Ignoring the eerie feeling that coiled up his spine, he uncovered an ancient, unmarked tombstone that seemed to have been intentionally hidden beneath layers of dirt and time. The stone was weathered, covered in strange symbols that seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy. Curiosity overcoming him, Martin brushed away the grime, revealing an inscription in a language unknown to him. As he traced the words with his fingers, a sudden chill swept through the air. The symbols on the tombstone glowed faintly, casting an ominous light upon the surroundings. Unbeknownst to Martin, his actions had unleashed a malevolent entity that had slumbered for centuries, its hunger for the souls of the living now awakened. That night, the dense fog enveloped Stonegate Cemetery, shrouding the tombstones and crypts in an ethereal mist. Unearthly whispers filled the air as the malevolent entity, a shadowy spectre, emerged from the ancient tombstone. It hungered for the warmth of the living, its form a grotesque distortion of human features. As the entity prowled the cemetery, an unholy wind rustled the leaves, carrying with it the anguished moans of tormented souls. Martin, haunted by a foreboding presence, ventured into the cemetery, drawn to the mysterious energy emanating from the unearthed tombstone. Unaware of the supernatural force he had unleashed, he felt an inexplicable compulsion to follow the whispers that guided him through the winding paths. The malevolent entity, now free to roam, cast its sinister influence over Stonegate Cemetery. Graves cracked open, releasing the restless spirits within. The one silent night echoed with the cries of the tormented souls as they joined the entity in its insatiable quest for living souls. Martin, his steps guided by an unseen force, approached the ancient tombstone. The ground trembled beneath him as he reached out to touch the glowing symbols. The malevolent entity, now a swirling vortex of darkness, converged upon him, feeding on the life force that radiated from his very being. Stonegate Cemetery became a nightmarish realm where the line between the living and the dead blurred. The fog thickened, concealing the unholy activities within its folds. Shadows danced among the tombstones, and the air pulsed with malevolence. Desperate to break free from the entity's grip, Martin sought the help of a local occultist who specialized in ancient languages and forbidden rituals. Together, they delved into the mysteries of the tombstone's inscription, uncovering a ritual that could banish the malevolent force back to its eternal slumber. As the duo performed the ritual in the heart of Stonegate Cemetery, the malevolent entity fought back with a ferocity that shook the very foundations of the underworld. The air crackled with energy as the forces clashed in a battle of supernatural proportions. In a blinding flash of light, the malevolent entity was forced back into the ancient tombstone, sealing it once again. The fog lifted, and the anguished cries of the tormented souls faded into silence. The cemetery returned to an eerie calm, but the scars of that night lingered in the air, a reminder of the unholy presence that had been unleashed upon the hallowed grounds of Stonegate Cemetery. Martin, now marked by the supernatural encounter, continued his duties as the gravedigger, forever changed by the horrors he had witnessed. The ancient tombstone remained buried beneath the earth, its secrets guarded by the restless spirits who had once been its unwilling accomplices in the malevolent entity's quest for souls. Years passed, and Stonegate Cemetery became a place whispered about in hushed tones. Locals avoided it after sunset, and tales of the gravedigger who had unwittingly unleashed a malevolent force circulated through the town like a ghostly breeze. Martin Blackwell, though aged and wearied, continued his solitary work, haunted by the memories of that fateful night. One stormy evening, as lightning tore through the sky and thunder echoed in the distance, a group of thrill-seekers dared each other to enter Stonegate Cemetery. Drawn by the allure of the macabre and the whispers of the supernatural, they ventured into the graveyard, unaware of the dark history that lay dormant beneath the tombstones. The atmosphere thickened with an ominous energy as the group approached the ancient, unmarked tombstone. Unbeknownst to them, the malevolent entity, weakened but not destroyed, stirred beneath the earth. The symbols on the tombstone glowed once more, resonating with the approaching intruders. As the thrill-seekers reached the tombstone, the air grew colder, and the swirling mist returned, wrapping around them like a spectral shroud. Unseen eyes watched from the shadows as the malevolent entity, still hungering for souls, began to influence the minds of the unsuspecting trespassers. Each step they took was guided by an unseen force, leading them deeper into the heart of Stonegate Cemetery. The whispers of tormented souls echoed in their ears, and the air pulsed with another worldly rhythm. Unnerved but driven by an inexplicable compulsion, the group found themselves standing before the ancient tombstone. Just as the malevolent entity prepared to strike, Martin Blackwell, who had sensed the disturbance, emerged from the shadows. His eyes, haunted by the memories of the past, met the terrified gazes of the intruders. With a voice as cold as the wind that swept through the cemetery, he warned them of the malevolent force they had awakened. Realization dawned on the thrill-seekers as the ancient gravedigger recounted the horrors he had witnessed. The malevolent entity, sensing its weakened state, lashed out in a desperate attempt to claim the living souls before it. The ground trembled, and the tombstone seemed to groan in agony as the entity sought to regain its strength. Martin, driven by a sense of responsibility, guided the group in a desperate attempt to perform the banishment ritual once again. Lightning streaked across the sky as they chanted the ancient words, the symbols on the tombstone glowing brighter with each incantation. The malevolent entity fought back with a ferocity that surpassed its previous resistance. The very fabric of reality seemed to tear as the forces clashed, unleashing a storm of supernatural energy upon the cemetery. The air crackled with malevolence, and the ground beneath them quivered as the ancient tombstone resisted its restraints. In a final, blinding surge of light, the banishment ritual succeeded once more. The malevolent entity, now weakened to its core, was thrust back into the depths of the tombstone. The air cleared, and the storm began to subside, leaving Stonegate Cemetery shrouded in an eerie calm. The thrill-seekers, their minds no longer under the entity's influence, stared in awe at the gravedigger who had saved them from a fate worse than death. Martin, his eyes weary but resolute, urged them to leave the cemetery and never return. As they hurried away, the ancient tombstone remained undisturbed, its secrets once again hidden beneath the earth. Martin Blackwell, forever marked by the supernatural events that unfolded in Stonegate Cemetery, continued his solitary work. The hallowed grounds, scarred by the battles between the living and the dead, stood as a testament to the thin veil that separated the mortal realm from the malevolent forces that lurked in the shadows. Stonegate Cemetery, once a haven for the departed, remained a place where the echoes of the past whispered through the rustling leaves and the twisted branches of the gnarled oak trees. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this story. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.